that I met from Tolland from that special election. And what we were able to do was, I got there first thing in the morning. We beat everybody else there, Tom and I, and set up a booth front and center to make sure everybody that had to walk into the polling booth more or less had to walk by us. And we set up our table with the signs and just started handing out information. And as the day progressed, and some pointers and tips from Ann, we came to realize that the best way to get the information to people was to start a conversation about, hey, we have this petition about gas taxes. And that was that 2-second icebreaker that would get somebody to at least stop and give you the time of day.
And take a piece, and take
I had
the
the same experience.
Very good, thank
I
you.
found that when I
How about
approached people
you?
with the petition first, I could engage them,
Yep.
and then I could give them the other information.
Exactly. And I had a couple of guys that literally, they were walking by me, like you do somebody trying to sell you something as you're walking by in the store. They were walking by me, and I mentioned, hey, I have a petition about gas taxes. I just kept talking. And when I got to the part about gas taxes, 180. A couple of guys just went, whoop, turned right around. And then we had our 30-second conversation, handed them a flyer full of lots of facts about Connecticut, and also mentioning our guy Don. So that flyer, we handed out probably 300 of those.
Okay, see, all right.
Because I went to Staples and got made a bunch of copies of several of the handouts. I didn't make any more of the petition, and we ended up running out of petitions at like 7:30. The last 5 people that walked by, we didn't have a petition for them. But we handed out a bunch of information, and yeah, that was it came from Ann, and Jerry was in on it as well early, that you got to have some initial contact to be able to get people to open up, even for something as simple as just talking to a random stranger for the first time. That initial hook is key. So overall, that was successful. It didn't work out for Wyndham Republicans in the polls, but we had a lot of success passing on information and laying the groundwork education-wise for what we're all doing here. 25%, I think.
Hartford was 5.
Really?
5. That's what I think I heard for Hartford.
For Hartford, what is that, an all-time record?
I have a hard time believing it, to be honest with you.
Scotland was only 15. You can go wherever you
So
want.
Brian, just to go off of what Brian said, that's what J.R. Romano is all about, is trying to help us with messaging. And us Republicans get the messaging wrong. We don't know how to reach out to the everyday person and at their language, at their level, and get the victim in them. So that was what the petition tool was about.
Yeah, so
I did forget to mention that you also sent forms to UConn as well. So
yeah, so
Yeah,
how they
everything-
engaged? Did they? I know they had a special meeting to talk
Yeah.
about it. I don't know if they did anything.
One of the other things, this is all a learning experience. Throughout the day, even at our booth, we got way more effective with how we were handing out
Yeah.
information. And one of the things that I didn't pass along to UConn, and this is the lesson learned, is what to do with these petitions. If I had told them to use this as your lead-in and talk
Right.
with people, they would have had more success. They didn't get a lot of petitions signed. They handed out a bunch of the trifolds. They set up a table in the student union, I believe, and I'm sure that there's tons of traffic, and that's a crowd we want to reach and we can reach. But just lesson learned for next time, when we give people materials, make sure they have a little bit of coaching so they understand what's the best way to use it.
Yeah, and after you go through it, I think it gets more comfortable with you.
Yep.
Once you get it down.
And I'm glad you said that, because that was the other thing that I thought of in afterthought. I thought, it would have been nice if I had everybody here that was going to do that.
Right.
Had everything
Right.
laid out and did
Little
a
coaching.
training. Look,
Yeah,
right.
this is what we're going to do, this is how we're going to do it. The other piece of what you said is it didn't help in this election, which wasn't my intent.
Right.
And that's to JR's point about it taking us time. He's got the 10-year plan to win the state back. As far as I'm concerned, anybody who didn't do this, the booth at the voting centers that we didn't get people there, we really missed a great opportunity.